I wanted to start off this morning with a chance to have a little fun and then bring us back to some of the comments that were made from the sessions yesterday that I wanted to spend some time talking about. So just very briefly, I want to talk to you guys about the concept of the power animal. You might know this from Native American folklore as the spirit animal, right? It's the animal that serves as kind of a metaphor for your guiding force, your driving force, right? So you might consider your power animal to be the soaring bald eagle, right? Or you might consider your power animal to be the silent night predator. Or you might consider your power animal to be the noble jungle cat. Or you might consider your animal to be the power animal to be the proud stoic bear. Now, if you ask my wife what my power animal is, she will tell you that my power animal is the sloth. And she will expound at length on why that is so. Now, when we talk about customer loyalty, and particularly when people in the loyalty services business, my colleagues around the world, when we talk about customer loyalty, can any of you think of an animal that comes to mind that kind of serves as a power animal for customer loyalty? Anyone? Dog? I heard dog. We have a winner. The dog. Dogs are loyal, right? So let's think about the characteristics of a dog. Man's best friend, unconditional love, someone that an animal that you can mistreat and will still come back and love you, right? So when we think about loyal customers as dogs, what are we really saying about them? We're saying that whenever we call them up, they're always going to be there. They're always going to pick up the phone, right? We're going to say that whatever type of little reward or treat that we give them, they're always going to be happy to have it. Whatever we do, no matter how poor our customer service is, no matter how bad our customer experience is that we deliver, the dog is always going to love us. Now, does anybody know customers that actually behave this way? Right? Not too many. As a matter of fact, when I advise clients, whenever they see a loyalty services provider come and give them a presentation and they use a picture of a dog in their PowerPoint when they talk about customer loyalty, that they should dismiss those folks summarily because they don't get it, right? So if we accept that customers don't really behave like dogs, is there an animal that better describes how customers behave? You got it. The cat. Cats are not loyal, right? Cats are what have you done for me lately creatures. You can love a cat, you can feed a cat every day, you can change its litter box, you can buy it treats. The cat will still snub you, right? The cat may or may not decide that it's going to give you affection, and it might turn on you at some point, right? So cats don't care necessarily about your Facebook page and how cool it is. Cats are not necessarily interested in all of your communications, and they aren't hanging on every word that comes out from your marketing department. Cats aren't interested in your customer service breakdowns or your margin problems or things that are giving you problems in your business. Cats are self-interested creatures, right? So those of you that are old enough to remember the 80s may remember a movie that came out in the 80s called Cat People. It starred this woman, Natasha Kinski. And she played a character, an alien, that whenever she engaged in intimate relations with someone would turn into a giant black panther and eat them, right? And I thought to myself, this is actually a pretty good metaphor for how our customers treat us sometimes. Sometimes we're terrified of our customers. We don't know what they're going to do, right? They're unpredictable. So I think cat is a much, much better metaphor. And when you think about the differences between dogs and cats, dogs see us as we see ourselves. They see us as we see ourselves as the heroes of our own lives. And dogs see us that same way. Cats, on the other hand, see us as we really are, as imperfect beings in need of improvement, right? So that's the main difference. And I think the best that we can hope for is that the cat people that are our customers somehow know dogs and some of the dog behavior actually rubs off on them, right? So this is a situation that we're in. And there were some comments that were made yesterday by some of the speakers and panelists that I thought were interesting. And they were interesting because I hear them at every loyalty conference that I go to. I've been to dozens and dozens of loyalty conferences over the years, all over the world. And there are three comments that I almost always hear. And I always feel like I need to point them out and kind of push back on them a little bit. One comment that I heard yesterday was people are not loyal to companies, right? I want to talk about that for a minute. Another comment that I heard was, we need to treat every customer the same, right? Heard that plenty of times. And then you always have somebody come up and say, loyalty is dead. Everything you know about loyalty is wrong. Loyalty is dead. We need to figure out a new way to do things. So let me push back on each of these just for a minute. So when you say people aren't loyal to companies, I would respectfully disagree. Ask Apple, right, whether they feel like they have loyal customers. They do, right? What people are loyal to, what customers are loyal to, is your brand promise, right? If you articulate a brand promise that gives customers value, and you live up to that promise and deliver on that promise and build trust and relationship, customers will be loyal to you, right? So that's one. In terms of the other comments, what I wanted to give you to kind of push back on those a little bit is something that I call the first principles of loyalty. These are things that have been true not since the dawn of the internet age, not since the dawn of the modern loyalty marketing age, which was probably occurred in about 1981 when the first frequent flyer programs came out. These are things that have been true since the very first time that there were customers and people trying to sell things to them. First principles of loyalty. So whenever you're trying to navigate this world of big data that we talked about yesterday, I want you to remember these first principles, because if you keep going back to them, you will never err. You might make some tactical mistakes, but your strategy will be sound. So the first of the first principles is all customers are not equal. Some customers are more valuable than others, and you do need to treat them differently. This has always been true, and it always will be true. We all know the Pareto rule, right? The 80-20 rule. It says roughly 20% of your customers are responsible for 80% of your profits. It's a cliche, but the reason why it's a cliche is that it's true. And in some cases, in a B2B environment, it might be the 95-5 rule. 5% of your customers might be responsible for 95% of your profits, right? So customers are differently valued, and you need to treat them differently according to their value. That's number one. Number two is that customers are motivated by rewards and recognition. You can change their behavior. There are different ways to do this. There are economic benefits, there are experiential benefits, but customers are motivated by these things. They always have been, because it's rooted in basic human psychology. People like to believe that they're getting a good deal, and they like to be recognized as valuable customers. Always has been true, always will be true. The third first principle is that relationships can be enabled and managed. That's what loyalty marketing does. When you use the phrase loyalty marketing, which I've used in many contexts over the years, the problem that we have with that phrase is that when people hear the phrase loyalty marketing, they think loyalty program. That's the first thing that comes to your mind, right? The loyalty program. And when you think loyalty program, the next thing that comes to your mind is points, right? Or miles. And then people become dismissive, right? Loyalty programs don't work. It's just bribery. We've tried it and it doesn't work. Well, it does work. And it works because you have to remember what these programs are actually designed to do, right? Loyalty marketing is not designed to make loyal customers. So I showed you this chart yesterday, right? And I don't want to spend any time on it, but I wanted to point it out again because I wanted to remind everybody that these are the things that drive customer loyalty. Quality, service, customer experience, good pricing. If you execute on these things better than your competitor, you will build more loyal customers. That's how you build customer loyalty. Now, what loyalty marketing does is help you build relationships, and it does that by giving you a platform to demonstrate your loyalty to your customers. So when you think loyalty marketing, I actually want you to flip those words and think of it as marketing loyalty, because that's what we're doing. You're not making loyal customers with your programs and your schemes. You're using them as tools to build relationship and demonstrating your loyalty to your best customers. So how do you do that? Well, when we talk about treating different customers differently, there are two groups that you should focus on. Again, this stuff doesn't have to be that complicated. So when you think of it in its simplest terms, it's actually easy to stay on strategy. When you think about segmenting customers and treating them differently, you're looking at two basic groups. You're looking at high current value customers. These folks are your best customers. You want to keep them your best customers. So you use marketing tools and stimulus to demonstrate your loyalty to them so that they don't drift away to the competition. The other group that you focus on is customers of high potential value. When you look at the data and the insight that's coming in, you see that there are groups of customers that look like they could be high value customers, but they aren't. And if you put the right offers in front of them, give them the right messages, and if they have the right value and the right relevance, then they might become high-value customers and shift their spend from the competitor to you, right? So high current value, high potential value. These are the two groups of customers that you want to focus on, and it allows you to use your marketing dollars more efficiently. Now, it's not that you keep or give the customers that aren't in these two groups bad customer service, right? So going back to this slide. This is how you treat all the customers the same. Everybody that walks into your front door gets this same level of experience. But when it comes to using your marketing dollars, these are the groups that you need to focus on. The other way that you do this is by trading information for value. This has been true, again, since the dawn of time, before the internet age, before the age of modern loyalty marketing. If you deliver this extra value to customers in terms of reward or recognition, they will tell you more about themselves. It used to be the corner shop and the customer trading details of their lives with the shopkeeper, right? Now we have millions of customers, so we use it through database. We get the information through data, through automation, and through communications channels, but the concept is the same. This will always be true. The third thing about relationships being enabled and managed, we've done a lot of research over the years at AIMIA on the building blocks of relationship, and these are the building blocks of relationship. Relationships are based on a level of trust between the consumer and the brand, the level of commitment that the brand displays to the relationship to the consumer, and the level of reciprocity in the relationship, so that both the consumer and the brand feel like they're getting something of value. The consumer feels that they're being rewarded and recognized, and the brand gets something back in the form of additional spend, more tenure, or referral. So these are the building blocks of relationships. Always has been true, always will be true. So when we think about marketing to cat people, David Johnston yesterday talked about the importance of bringing science back into marketing. So I wanted to just expound on that just for a minute. We do need to be loyalty scientists, and the best loyalty marketers are loyalty scientists. So when we think about the classic scientific method, scientists pose a question, right? That's the first step in the process. Then they do some research to try to figure the answer to the question, and then they construct a hypothesis. And from that hypothesis, they will conduct tests to test the validity of the hypothesis. And once they conduct the test to their advantage, they'll analyze the results, and then they'll report on the results. And the results will either prove or disprove the hypothesis. If it proves the hypothesis, well, that's great. Then you've got a new scientific best practice that you can implement. If the test does not prove the hypothesis, then you go back, you recalibrate, and you try again. This is what we do within the context of loyalty management. So just to give you a little blueprint for how to enact a loyalty management strategy in a way that will make you successful and market successfully to cat people, this is how we do it. First thing we do is identify who our good customers are. You need a license plate. You need a way to track your consumers at the level of the individual customer so that you can understand their behavior, what they're buying, what they're looking at on your website, what offers they're responding to, and what they're doing within social media. So identify is the first step. The second step is to understand customers. So you start to profile them, segment them, build personas, whatever it is that you do to try to understand how it is that they're actually behaving. And then you look for gaps in behavior, and you look for a group of customers of either high current value that might be leaving, high potential value that you might be able to shift, and then you try to influence them. You try to test offers, put the right offer in front of the right customer at the right time through the right channel, and these customers, if they respond to it, will reward you with all the things that you're looking for, and increased spend, increased tenure, increased activity. Then you want to make sure you measure the results, right? We all need to report our results upstairs to the boardroom, so we need to measure the results. Are we being successful? Are we seeing ROI come back on our marketing efforts? And the good news about the loyalty management process is it provides almost on a dollar-for-dollar basis a very, very clear understanding of what return you're getting for your investment because you can track the activity at the level of the individual customer. This is very important. And then you iterate. If your program is successful, you expand it. You roll it out to additional markets. You bring in additional groups of customers. You buy more things for them. You do more. If it's unsuccessful, again, you go back to the drawing board, which is what all good scientists do. So this is the classic loyalty management method. And if you remember the first principles of loyalty and you act like loyalty scientists, you will be successful. You will create happy cat customers. And the good thing about cats, the thing you must always remember, is that you have to demonstrate the unconditional love to the cat, right? And at a time and place of the cat's own choosing, the cat will jump up on your lap, it will purr. Those of you that have cats will know that the cats like to make bread with their little paws on your leg, right? So you'll see the cats do that, and that's when the cat rewards you. But the cat does it on its own time and in its own place and through its own channel. So this is how we have to think of our customers. So as we go through the rest of today, and as we think back to the great content that we had yesterday, I want to encourage you to remember these first principles and think like marketing scientists, and we will have happy cats, and we will all be successful, and we'll come back here next year and we'll talk about all the great things that we did.